Michigan music, the White Stripes. Right here at Noise and Toys in Alpena, Michigan, with Retro Steve and Ryan at the counter. And we've got a fantastic Michigan artist coming up from you, also from the Detroit area. His name's Joey Spina. Hang on tight. This performance is going to knock your socks off right here on the Michigan Music Venture. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to Michigan Music Ventures. I'm your host, Chaz Anthony. Thank you very much for letting us be a part of your day and welcoming us into your living room. And with that, a little bit more about Michigan music scene. This time, I'm very blessed to be able to be sitting here with Joey Spina. Joey Spina is someone I've known and been familiar with for a number of decades now. Fantastic musician. He's played in bands and solo all over the world, toured Europe, toured America with Whitey Morgan in the 78s, Joanne Shaw Taylor, Paul Lamb in the Detroit Breakdown, as well as doing a ton of his own music and solo work. Joey's got a new release coming fairly soon, and with that, we're going to start getting him on camera with me. Joey, tell us a little bit about who you are and how you ended up in music.
Well, like I say, thanks for having me. And I don't know how much time we got.
As much as you need.
You know, my dad was a musician when I was younger, so music was always around the house, and kind of wasn't till he was, to skip ahead, it wasn't till he was later in life where he became a professional musician. I was just kind of the kid that was there and played guitar, so he brought me out to the bar with him. I grew up around the bar. My family was in the restaurant business, so it was no stranger for me to be around that element. I was always like the youngest kid in the bar, and that's kind of where it all started. It's probably middle school, around 7th grade-ish, and then, yeah, you know. The rest is history. I don't know, I gigged around town with him for up until the time he had passed away, and then the touring musician career started in my early 20s.
You played both in the Detroit area and up here in the Alpena area,
Oh, yeah.
yes?
I lived up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many years were you in this area?
What was I, 21, 22, 23, 3 or 4 years? I mean, I've been coming up here my entire life.
Gotcha.
Family vacation in Tawas,
Gotcha.
you know, kind of vibes. But yeah, I lived right here down the street.
It's a fantastic area, and
Love
it
it.
does have a way of bringing people
Has
back.
a special place in my heart. Some songs I've written have come right out of this town.
I might even be familiar with one or two.
Maybe, just maybe.
Something I'd really like to ask you, what's new in music for you? Where are you going musically?
I don't know if necessarily I'm going somewhere new or just refreshing and some, you know, old vibes because of where I come from and my influences. But, you know, it's hard to answer that in a way that makes sense to me. You know, I just draw on inspiration. I mean, I guess it's new because it'll be new to the world, but, you know, for me, it's just what I look back on and the best things I love and gravitate towards, and then, you know, it melded around up here and turned into what it is. So.
Any new music coming out for the people?
Oh yeah, I got a 10-song record coming out. It's recorded down at Rust Belt in Royal Oak, Michigan, and you know, I'm looking very forward to pushing it off the cliff and seeing where it goes in the world, and you know, so people are going to figure out, you know, whether you like it or not, and just see what happens.
Sounds exciting.
It's exciting.
Is this your first major release?
Scary, maybe. Yeah, on my own.
Good for you.
So,
good for you. And is there any plans for touring or anything behind it?
The plans for touring will follow the record release. If all goes according to plan, about a month after it's released, the tour would start, and then just be off to the races.
Very good, very good. If people wanted to catch up with you now, is there social media, gigs, how would you tell them to do so?
You can find me on Instagram at Spina Music, and Facebook, it's just Joey Spina. There's not a lot up there for myself at the moment, other than some like acoustic cover gigs I would play in the Detroit area, but you know, it's a means to find me, see what I'm up to, check in.
I know you've played guitar with both Joanne Shaw Taylor, which is a bit more of a blues thing, and with Whitey Morgan, which is a bit more of a traditional country kind of thing. What would you call your own styles?
It's kind of a meld. You know, I grew up around a lot of blues musicians when I was growing up, so I've always kind of, that blues thing was always in there, and then some jazz, so rock. It's all, it's kind of all over the place, but I tend to just rock and blues and,
Rock and blues.
rock and blues. I don't know. It's a simple answer, but
Coming back, wouldn't you agree?
yeah, definitely coming
The,
back.
the instruments and real musicians seem to be appreciated again in a way that they haven't in the past decade or so.
Totally. It seems to be the ears are changing.
A grand thing from
Yeah.
my point of view.
Me too.
You've played on a lot of stages in a lot of places, all over this country and all over the world. Tell me about some of the memorable experiences you've had either on the stage or at the venues.
Well, one story that just kind of popped into my head was I was playing with Paul Lamb in the Detroit Breakdown at the time, and I was the bass player in that band, and we were playing Glastonbury Music Festival. And we had 2 nights to do, and it was like in this big blues tent, probably held a few thousand people. Wasn't a main stage, but it was still like an epic thing to be part of and awesome. But Paul's gonna hate me for telling the story, but he got sick, and we couldn't do the second show, so I got to throw a band together to play our slot, and I got to play that slot at Glastonbury and
Nice.
wasn't booked at it.
Nice.
And
Glastonbury is
I
a huge
got
festival
to-
in Britain,
got to-
right?
yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So that was a really memorable music moment, and the one I really can't just play down because it's just matter of fact. We got to play we opened for Bob Seger at his last show at the Palace of Auburn Hills with Whitey Morgan in the 78s, and that was pretty special.
That had to make it.
To stand on the hometown boys stage to a sold out crowd, that's stuff you dream of, and you get to live it, and then it's just kind of really surreal after the fact.
I also hear tell a tale of, long story short, I know that Prince is one of your motivating factors.
Love Prince.
And last year you were at the studio where he did a lot of his music.
Yes, that was another one of those surreal moments in life where I'm sitting at the grand piano that he wrote Purple Rain on, and then I played my best way I could play it just to hear the sound of the piano. And it was
Transcendent in those
yeah,
times, isn't
super
it?
transcendent. That vibe and feeling and emotion is all right there at Sunset Sound Studio 3. You can't not deny the feel and what's happened in those rooms.
They say it still smells like it smelled then.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I wasn't
Yeah.
there then, but I don't find that hard to believe.
Yeah, it was.
If you wanted the audience to know something about you, what would you want them to know?
I try to do everything from a pure place and just 100% honesty of the moment, and try to plug into the vibe that is around me, and just if it's on the stage, just try to leave it all on the stage in the moment, and because you can't get the time back and dwelling on that kind of stuff, so it's just kind of like just want to play music and expand the universe and keep it going.
If you indulge me, it sounds to me like you're describing a form of musical integrity.
Yeah, it's always up to people to decide what they want. Their perspective, my perception of myself might not be what is perceived, but from my standpoint, being able to say it, that's what I'm trying to bring to the table from here and forward, or what I always bring to the table in general in all of my musical endeavors of my life. So that's what I'm trying to really offer on what I'm trying to do on my own.
After the record comes out, when you're planning on touring behind it, you and a band?
Well, that's $1 million question. I'm
not paying, I'm sorry.
I'm game for however it starts. I could do it acoustic. I could, some of the songs have piano, and I could bring a keyboard with me and play it. Or, if I can, the budget's together, I could probably do a 3-piece band, and I would love to represent it as most accurately as I can. But some of the songs have like 8 background singers on them vibe, and that's a lot of people to just right out of the gates come out with. So
You mentioned you played bass with Paul Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about the keyboard. What would you describe as the instrument of choice for Joey Spina?
well, the piano was my first instrument, and I wouldn't go as far as to say it was forced on me, but at a young age it was kind of that thing. And when I gravitated to the guitar, they kind of just let me play it and figure it out on my own. So it's definitely guitar.
So you see yourself as a guitar
I
player?
see myself as a guitar player, although I write a fair amount of songs on the piano. Some of them I translate to the guitar because I like the very linear approach of being able to just, these are the notes, they're right here.
Sure.
I can just,
Sure.
because, you know.
Do you find that you write differently on the piano than you do on the guitar?
Yeah, for sure. You can get a little more melodic. You can, you know, especially if you're singing something, being able to sustain a chord behind you and the way the piano feels when you're sitting at it brings a certain energy and dynamic out of a song. Sometimes I move it to the guitar and then it takes on something else, and then you find what you can, you know, you hone in on something and you're like, oh, that's kind of the direction where it's going, you know.
Gotcha.
In writing,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Do you write a lot?
I write all the time, so.
Notebooks and notebooks.
Oh
and
yeah.
Poems,
I'll write.
songs.
You know, there's no like I don't know, this could be an endless conversation on songwriting because there's no real right or wrong way to do it. But for me, sometimes it's a premise, sometimes it's an idea, sometimes I have to like just write stream of consciousness for a few pages to get the whole idea out, to look at actually what the idea is, or maybe you see something that you didn't even know was there. Because getting it out is the hardest part, like putting the thing that's in your head into reality and then being able to kind of understand what you might have been saying in a moment. You know, like throw punctuation and grammar out the window. Don't hinder your creativity in the moment.
Gotcha.
Thank you, Mr. Reed Nordwall, for creative writing class, for dropping that seed in my head at a young age, because I've carried it with me.
Speaking of referring back to someone who taught or inspired you, I know you're a big buff in the music history of the Detroit area in Michigan in general.
Sure.
Would you just
Yeah, I know some things. No.
name some Michigan artists who've made an impression on you or helped to shape you?
Oh man. Well, the one that recently pops into my mind is I knew him since I was 6 years old. His name was James Cloyd Jr. He was a legend in the bass world. He played with all the Kings and he's toured with everybody. It's a long list, and I had him in my life since I was 6 because he was my dad's buddy. Played in the band at the restaurant. He played in Val Ventro's band, and I had a lot of time. He's one of my, aside from my father, who could, you know, who was always like, I can only get you so far, and then James came into my life, and he tough loved me right to everything I know now. And I look back as even an adult, and you know, he's teaching me from the grave with lessons that he laid down when I was like 14 of, you know, or 13, playing music, where I'm like, oh, that's what you meant. That's what you gave me, you know. It'll choke me up sometimes thinking about it because it's beautiful stuff. And I'm fortunate to have been surrounded by the people I was surrounded by growing up. You know, I got Jim McCarty, you know, you're talking about Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels, you know. Johnny B. Badanjic was the drummer in that band. I used to, you know, they played at my family's restaurant, and I would just sit there and watch these guys. Dave Gilbert was still alive from the Rockets, and they all were in the Rockets together. And, you know, also just being able to be around the Motown thing and kind of catch the tail end of the guys who were still gigging and playing in the scene, where you could just go into a club and you're like, oh, you're, I can't remember their name right now, but you're like, oh, you're the dude, and you're just here. And you get to live in that moment with him in music and just soak it in. And, you know, walked in the bar and, like, you know, Stevie Wonder's horn players in there, Dwight Adams. You know, you just never know what you're going to run into in Detroit as far as that, you know. But you got to, you know, kind of be aware of what you're around.
Got the old English D on your finger.
Oh, yeah.
Portray yourself very much as rooted in Detroit as you tour and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Proud. I'm proud to come from, you know, the Detroit area and support the music and what it's meant to the world, you know, from automotive to music to all the industry, and, you know.
That's fantastic.
The stuff that helped define the planet in a certain point, you know.
I do believe I understand what you're driving at.
Let's not forget Flint. That's where most of the cars were made.
Well, there you go.
New York City.
I know that Whitey was originally
the
from
band's
Flint. He's not living there anymore.
No, but I learned that lesson quickly when I said some stuff like, "Oh, the Detroit." He's like, "No, man, all the cars are made in Flint." So I know now. I know the history.
He hasn't been to Dearborn,
The
has he?
Durant brothers. Yeah, right. Well, headquarters.
If you could have your audience know one thing about the music that's coming from you, what would you want them to know?
I mean, it was kind of like what I said before. It's just, you know, it's what I got right now is about a lot of life experience lived, and looking back and trying to learn lessons from things and break patterns and, you know, tell the story from my point of view. You know, I would want them to, you know, I don't want to like put a lot of definition on it because I want it to uniquely mean something to everybody that listens to it, other than what's obviously there, and identify with it. But you know, I'm gonna just try to always keep it real. Is a easy way to say it, and you know, create more music, and because I tapped into it and I don't want to stop.
Very good. And with that, folks, real music from real people, what Michigan Music Ventures is all about. We're going to have Joey come up and play some songs for you on acoustic guitar. Thanks for tuning in.
Never getting what you want the first time. Still trying to find where I belong. Always searching for an answer to a question that's unknown. If I'm wasting your time, yeah, and I'm moving on, I keep looking for a reason to stay. I get so tired of second chances. I get so tired of being wrong. I get so tired of second chances. Because we all die trying, gonna try a little harder to make it through the night. I'll be gone. Yeah, and I'll be gone. Never gonna take any chances. You're always waiting on someone else. Well, there's nothing at the end of the rainbow that's worth getting that you can't get for yourself. I keep looking for a reason to stay. I get so tired of second chances. I get so tired of being wrong. I get so tired of second chances. Because we all die trying, gonna try a little harder to make it through the night. Or I'll be gone. Yeah, and I'll be gone. Yeah. Well, I'll be gone. Yeah, and I'll be gone. Yeah. I get so tired of second chances. I get so tired of second chances. I get so tired of them second chances. Yeah, and if I make it to tomorrow, oh yeah, and I just might be gone.
That was a fantastic number you just gave us. Really enjoyed it. I believe you've got two more coming. One of the things I wanted to ask you, though, is where do you find the songs that work for you? How do you find them? What's your voice?
I mean, I've been singing for a long time, but I mean, finding the songs, you know, for instance, The Trouble with Angels song is a cover of a Bobby Bear song that I reimagined. But like finding that song, I had to, I'm a firm believer, like when you're singing somebody else's lyrics, you kind of have to like identify with it. So I finally felt like I lived that moment. And when that song came into my life, I was listening to it like, I know that girl, I did that. And those words hit me to a deep place. And, and it inspired me to want to figure out my own way of singing that song and find my own voice for it.
So for you, you
So in
gotta
a
feel the
sense,
song.
yeah. I mean, I don't want to, I don't know how to not describe it. It's yeah, it has to speak to you. If it doesn't, then what's the point? I don't want to arbitrarily be like, I'm going to cover this song because it's cool right now, or
You mentioned The Trouble with Angels, which is going to be the third track we have you do today. We just got to hear Second Chances. This next one that's coming up, Can't Be Your Lover. Can you tell me anything about it?
That's the boy in love with the girl that he doesn't know if she's has any kind of feeling towards him, and they're good friends, but she sure does make him feel great.
Gotcha.
And that's it's all in there.
Well, I'll tell you what, it might be all in there, but we haven't heard it yet. It's coming right up, and then you'll get a chance to hear it yourself, folks, right here on Michigan Music Ventures.
Under an August moon, black-lit sky, blue-eyed shimmer in the candlelight, singing you're so bad, I'm so gone. You lean a little closer as the night moves on, my heart beat again. And like a shooting star gives to the night, blue eyes faded into red tail lights. That's when it hit me. And if I can't be your lover, I always want to be your friend. 'Cause love's a blue-headed muse, baby, time and time again. But you're making me feel better. There's no more clouds inside, because it's all bright tonight. And as you poured away, the moon got still. The candle burns on that windowsill, and like a broken wing, tethered bird, when you're playing friends and drinking, it's hard to find the words to tell you what it is inside, how you make me feel. A captured heart was dying, then it found something real, then it hit me. And if I can't be your lover, I always want to be your friend. 'Cause love's a blue-headed muse, baby, time and time again. But you're making me feel better. There's no more clouds inside, because it's all bright tonight. It's all bright. It's all bright. And like a shooting star gives to the night, blue eyes faded into red tail lights, my heart beat again.
Once again, that was Can't Be Your Lover, Joey Spina's latest off of his new release, Red Tail Lights. Joey, fabulous music. Where do people find it? Where do people get their hands on it?
Well, it will be available on every streaming platform that exists, and it hopefully makes its way, into the world, and it'll be on the joeyspina.com website. We'll have hard copies available, hopefully some vinyl.
I was going to ask if you were going to get some vinyl pressed.
It's a timeline, but I'm going to get it done, and the typical at the concert when that happens, when the tour happens.
Can anybody get access to the music that is out currently that isn't new release? Whitey's, Joanne Shaw Taylor's, you've played on all of that. Where do they find that? The streaming services?
Yeah,
also?
You can find all the stuff I've recorded with Whitey Morgan on Spotify.
Whitey Morgan in the 78s?
Whitey Morgan in the 78s. I played on 2 of Joanne Shaw Taylor's songs. She did a cover of Slow Dancing in a Burner Room by John Mayer, and she did the song Human. And I sang on that with the John Mayer one's me and her playing guitar together and her singing. It's actually kind of cool.
Gotcha, very nice.
Yeah, it was a really
nice.
That was a good experience. And the same thing with Paul Lamb. He's on there too.
Okay.
Paul Lamb and the Detroit
Paul Lamb
Breakdown.
and the Detroit Breakdown,
Oh, yeah.
right? And that can be found on all the
You hear
streaming
me playing the
services
bass
and
and
stuff as
the
well. Very good.
funk rock band, Wall of Sound.
Walls. You had mentioned Trouble with Angels when we were talking earlier. You said Bobby Bear?
Yeah, Bobby Bear,
Bobby Bear.
the country singer.
And he's the one who wrote this song. Okay, gotcha. Were there any other covers of it that you're familiar with?
Not that I know of.
And your version of it is quite a bit different.
Yeah, I've there's a little Easter egg in there of the melody of the. I didn't, it's still there. The chord progressions. It's just more of a feel and the vibe and where I took it. It's an amazing song how he did it. I'd listened to it a million times, and then I was in North Fork, California, and a buddy of mine, who was Ted Roberson, who's helped me write some of the originals that are on there. We sat and we played it and just kind of was like, till we were like, that's it, that's the arrangement, that's how this, it's it's the way it should go, it feels right. So, it's on a voice memo on my phone, and I took that to the studio, and then in the studio, some whole new life got breathed into it, because it takes a turn at the end, and it kind of turns into this, like another song before it ends. So.
And with that, folks, we're going to have him give us an acoustic version of Trouble with Angels right here, and that's coming right up on Michigan Music Ventures.
She had a rusty old halo and make-believe wings. She laid down beside me to ease up my pain. She lifted me gently. She helped me stand, and I knew one angel was holding my hand. The trouble with angels, they never stay. Trouble with angels, they'll fly away. She sang to me softly a tender love song, and she rocked me gently all night long. She Watch me grow strong, stronger each day. And when I grew restless, she flew away. The trouble with angels is they never stay. The trouble with angels, they all fly away. The trouble with angels is they never stay. The trouble with angels, they all fly away. She's out there searching for someone in pain, with a rusty old halo and make-believe wings. The trouble with angels is they never stay. The trouble with angels, they all fly away. The trouble with angels is they never stay. The trouble with angels, they all fly away. All fly away. All fly away.
If you know what that is, you're at least as old as Joey and I. What a fantastic performance he laid down for us here tonight. I hope you enjoyed that right here on the Michigan Music Venture. Thanks for tuning in.